Imagine a time before skyscrapers and highways, a time when North America was a new world waiting to be discovered. This was a time when the land was a vast, untouched wilderness, brimming with potential and mystery. It was here, thousands of years ago, that the first Native Americans made their homes. These pioneers, who crossed the frozen Bering Strait from Asia, were the first to lay claim to the land that would one day become the United States of America. Diverse and rich cultures sprang up across the continent. Tribes like the Hopi, the Apache, the Iroquois, and hundreds of others thrived, each with their own traditions, languages, and ways of life. They lived harmoniously with the land, their lives intricately woven into the fabric of the natural world. But change was on the horizon. The late 15th century ushered in an era of exploration, and Europe set its sights on the New World. The Spanish were the first to arrive, followed closely by the French and the English. They came searching for gold, for glory, and for new lands to claim in the name of their kings and queens. The arrival of these Europeans had a profound impact on the Native American populations. Disease, warfare, and displacement resulted in untold suffering and loss for these indigenous peoples. Despite these hardships, the colonization of the land pressed on. The Spanish established missions and outposts in the Southwest and Florida. The French laid claim to vast territories in the north, while the English settled along the eastern seaboard, establishing the first 13 colonies. These colonies would become the cradle of a new civilization, a place where disparate cultures, languages, and ideologies would clash and meld together. From this crucible of conflict and cooperation, a new nation was beginning to take shape. And so, the stage was set for the birth of a new nation. The seeds of rebellion were sown as the colonists began to resist foreign rule. This resistance was not sudden, but rather a response to a series of events that started to unfold in the mid-18th century. The British Empire, grappling with financial crises post the French and Indian War, turned to its American colonies to replenish its coffers. It imposed a series of taxes, like the Stamp Act of 1765 and the Townshend Acts of 1767, on everyday goods, leading to widespread discontent among the colonists. They felt these taxes were unjust, as they had no representation in the British Parliament, a sentiment summed up in the famous phrase, "No taxation without representation." The tension escalated with the Boston Tea Party in 1773. In response to the Tea Act, which gave the British East India Company a monopoly on tea sales in the colonies, a group of colonists dumped a shipment of tea into Boston Harbor. This act of defiance, a mere spark, ignited the flame of revolution. The flame turned into a roaring fire with the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. This document, drafted by Thomas Jefferson and edited by a committee including Benjamin Franklin and John Adams, formally severed the political ties between the 13 American colonies and Britain. It asserted the colonies' right to be free and independent states. The Revolutionary War that followed was a brutal and bloody conflict. The colonists, under the leadership of General George Washington, faced off against the mighty British military. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, they relied on their resilience, grit, and the belief in their cause. After 8 long years of war, the British finally surrendered at Yorktown in 1781. With the victory in the war, a young nation, the United States of America, was born. This birth was not without pain, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter in the annals of world history. A chapter that would see the rise of a nation built on the principles of liberty, equality, and democracy. A new nation, now faced with the task of defining itself and its values, began to expand westward. The early 1800s marked a significant shift in the American landscape. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803, where the U.S. bought over 800,000 square miles of land from France, doubled the size of the young nation. This acquisition, stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, opened up vast new territories, ripe for exploration and settlement. This expansion was fueled by a philosophy known as manifest destiny, a belief that the United States was destined by God to spread its influence and democratic ideals across the entire continent. This belief was not without its consequences, as it led to the displacement and suffering of countless Native American tribes. Their lands were taken, their cultures disrupted, and their lives forever changed. As the nation grew, so did its problems. The issue of slavery, long a contentious point, became increasingly polarizing. In the northern states, where industrialization was more prevalent, there was a growing movement to abolish slavery. However, in the southern states, where agriculture was the primary means of livelihood, many felt their way of life depended on the institution of slavery. This stark division led the country into the Civil War in 1861. This bloody conflict, fought primarily over the issue of slavery, lasted for 4 grueling years. It was a war that saw brother against brother and state against state. Yet, it was also a war that led to the Emancipation Proclamation, and ultimately, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States. In the end, the nation was deeply scarred, but it also emerged stronger. The end of the Civil War marked not just the end of a brutal conflict, but also the beginning of a new era. It was a time of reconstruction, social change, and a redefinition of what it meant to be an American. A nation divided, yet the end of the Civil War marked a new chapter in American history. From the ashes of war, America rose, ready to make its mark on the world stage. The late 19th century ushered in the Industrial Revolution, a period of rapid growth and change. Factories sprang up, cities expanded, and the American economy boomed. With this newfound prosperity came a surge in immigration, adding to the vibrant tapestry of cultures that make up the nation. This era of expansion was not without its challenges. The dawn of the 20th century saw the world plunged into the chaos of 2 world wars. America, initially a reluctant participant, emerged as a global powerhouse, its military and economic might reshaping the world order. In the wake of these global conflicts, the Cold War reared its head, pitting America and its democratic ideals against the Soviet Union's communism. This ideological battle fueled advancements in technology and space exploration, forever changing the way we understand our world and beyond. While America was making strides on the global stage, it was also grappling with deep-seated societal issues at home. The mid-20th century marked the Civil Rights Movement, a pivotal period in America's history. This was a time when ordinary individuals, fueled by the dream of equality, stood up against discrimination and segregation. Their courage and determination led to significant changes, advancing the cause of justice and equality in the nation. As we moved into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, America experienced a technological boom. The advent of the internet, smartphones, and other digital technologies transformed the way we live, work, and communicate. America, once again, was at the forefront of these revolutionary developments, shaping and being shaped by them. And so, America continues to evolve, its history a testament to its resilience and spirit. From the Industrial Revolution to the technological boom, each chapter of America's story reflects its enduring ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome. The journey is far from over, and we can only imagine what the next chapter holds. From its early beginnings to the present day, the United States has been a nation of change and progress. A tapestry woven with the threads of diverse cultures, ideals, and events, America's history is as colorful as it is complex. We journeyed back to the early beginnings, where indigenous tribes flourished in harmony with the land. The arrival of European settlers, however, marked a turning point, setting the stage for a saga of exploration, conflict, and transformation. Next, we traced the road to independence, a path paved with courage and determination. The 13 colonies, driven by a desire for self-governance, ignited the Revolutionary War. Their victory gave birth to a new nation, the United States of America, a beacon of hope and freedom. The narrative then unfolded the era of expansion and the Civil War. The promise of manifest destiny led to the growth of the nation, but it also ignited the spark of discord over the issue of slavery. The Civil War, a devastating conflict that tore the nation apart, ultimately led to the abolition of slavery, marking a significant step towards equality. In the modern era, the United States emerged as a global powerhouse. From the Roaring Twenties to the Great Depression, from the World Wars to the Civil Rights Movement, and from the digital revolution to the present day, America has continuously evolved, shaped by the triumphs and tribulations of its past. The history of America is a tale of resilience. It's a narrative of a nation that has weathered storms, risen from the ashes, and soared to great heights. It's a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, their dreams, their struggles, and their victories. The history of America is a story of a nation that has faced challenges, celebrated victories, and continues to shape the world. It's a story that continues to be written, and one that will continue to inspire future generations.